All right, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, we have another wonderful Watt Wednesday going on here today. So we thought we'd go ahead and hit you with a BTP Reacts. To some of the things that were announced today. We actually have three different things to go over because we were the Watt gods blessed us with three different things to talk about today in our BTP Reacts. And not only that, we have one of the most appropriate friends along for one of those announcements. We actually, as all of you know, and I will just sort of start with this one, today brought us the advent of a controversial change in the story where Thom Marilyn will no longer be playing the harp.
Or the flute.
Or the flute. He will now be playing the guitar. And we got a reveal of said guitar. And so on our BTP Reacts, also, if you listen to the episode that this one's attached to in some ways, which will be the one that comes out on
New Year's Day.
Happy New Year's!
This will come out earlier than that.
Oh, that's right.
If you listen to the episode...
For today is Happy Solstice. Happy Solstice,
Exactly.
everyone.
There's a chance this one may actually be out tonight as I'm recording it, or as we're recording it. So,
great.
Because
but
we all have holiday travel, or I do. You guys, I seem like you've already done, but I have to travel 5 hours back home.
Your guns.
So as much as I can get done tonight and as early as I can tomorrow, the more I will.
You're awesome.
While I eat my pocket,
so we got
don't judge
guitar.
me. I didn't get to eat before
the episode that this is related to will be the one that comes out on New Year's Day. And we also have the special guest for the Reacts on the episode that will be coming out on New Year's Day. So come on by and see that. And that special guest is going to be the very appropriately scheduled, though we didn't know that at the time, Androl,
We did
our
know that.
lovely Ashaman and Bard from the Twitter of Time sphere, and our lovely songs that are just about everywhere because they deserve to be. So, Androl, say hi.
Hello, and thank you so much. You know, I'm so glad that Rafe and the team over at Amazon changed their schedule so they could release music-related news today.
It was very nice of them to do that.
Yeah.
It was very nice of them to do that.
They didn't need to, but I know that they not only pay attention to the Black Tower podcast episodes enough, but they actually pay attention enough to our Google Docs schedule.
Rafe was like, you know what?
Well,
I'm
it
going
was
to
in
see
the
what the
Discord,
Black
right?
Tower's doing.
We hopped
That's
over
true. It was
to the
actually
Discord
the
server
Discord.
we have with the writers' room.
Yes.
They were like, hey, yo, Rafe, home dog, we got a special request for you. We know it's last minute.
Hey, yo,
But
Ray.
we got Androl
Hey, yo,
coming on the
Sarah.
show. Could you give us
How
some
about you
music
give us
drops?
some stuff?
Dude, okay.
Joshua
Here's-
hopped
here's-
in. He was like, that's an awesome idea. Let's do it.
Bingo.
Guitar, right? There was the guitar. And then there was, Rafe did a Q&A sesh, which might be even more controversial than the guitar,
Correct.
which I'm super in love with.
Guess how much I've seen of the Q&A?
And then the last one,
I've seen nothing of the Q&A yet.
oh, you're going to love
I
it.
mean, I bet you I'm pretty sure that Andrew has seen exactly as much of the Q&A as Words in New Spring he's read.
I have read the first paragraph.
Have you? Okay, well then
And
never mind.
Andrew, I can say you're not alone. Got New Spring standing there in my bookshelf behind me. I read it.
Oh! Yes,
And I
well,
have read the series 49 times.
Yes.
to be fair, Androl, I will say, you do have a channel that is Watt related and whatnot. But I don't think that people are necessarily clamoring for you to write songs about New Spring. But we regularly do episodes where New Spring is kind of important. And the fact that one of our hosts hasn't read the full thing yet, has on occasion
entertaining.
It's almost like a bit at this point. Like
It's
where
a
now
shtick.
I'm like
It's a
I'm in
shtick
the I'm
now.
in the weird cross section where I'm like, if
Now
I
it's a
read it, I
principle.
end the bit.
Yes.
There you go.
But if I don't
End
read
the
it,
bit.
I'll never live it down.
End the bit.
So
But
then the
anyway.
third one,
we will
was
find
like-
new bits, Andrew. We will find new bits.
and then the third one was like a 2-second drop of
Moraine.
Moraine
Riding
riding
on
a
a
horse.
horse.
Jinx.
Even though it's not actually 100% confirmed that that's what that is.
that
But it
is true.
was.
We suspect.
We suspect.
So
It
we should start
seems-
with probably like my hair is like getting on the inside of my ears. It's trying to tickle me. We should start with probably the easiest one, which I believe would be riding a horse.
Yes. Well,
That's
there's
not
not
a
a
horse.
whole lot there in some ways.
That's why it's the easiest one.
Yeah. And it's really cool. And again, it's one of those hype trailers where it doesn't tell you
Yeah.
anything about the story, but it gets
So-
you excited because it's a
so-
shot.
If anybody didn't see it, because What Wednesday was freaking unhinged today with the awesomeness. It literally was. It was a 2-second clip. As Daniel said, it was a hype trailer, like a making of behind the scenes kind of a thing. And it was a woman who bore striking resemblance to Rosamund Pike, riding a horse, hair blowing in the wind, long, dark
And it
hair.
does look
blowing
like
in the
she
wind.
is dressed as one would expect Moraine to be dressed. So yes, as I said, for all intents and purposes, it appears to be Moraine.
Except for she's not on a white horse.
Are we sure we've seen the same leaked trailer? But because she wasn't on a horse in the one I saw. She was on a
What?
green. No, she was on a green thingy behind
A
a
green?
car.
Oh, was it a CGI horse?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that means that she might have been on a white horse.
Maybe I didn't look.
So
she was on a green horse. It's stupid they don't have green horses in Emmons Field. Shut up. I'm
I love
sorry.
I love how Josh is being those people before those people even join us.
Well, because they're coming. They're
Actively-
coming. They're going to be here soon.
Yeah. I never saw the video. All I have is the still frame that Josh was so kind to
Did
post.
he just
no.
freeze when he
in
said
one of our
I had the
chats.
still?
Yes, he
Oh no.
dropped, unfortunately. I'm guessing that, like, actually someone at his house is using the microwave. But I just set it to record again, so we will.
Okay.
Anyway.
Pick up from there. Anyway,
Edit.
so she's riding a horse. It looks like she's got,
Some flowy, roby stuff
some
on.
flowy roby, some flowy hair. She's got a serious look on her face, but that just might be the air being like in her eyeballs. I don't know. It looks
I will
exciting.
tell you, I'm not saying that no one else here understands this. I'm sure all of you have been are aware enough of how movies work and whatnot, but that is how some people get their best reactions to things.
True.
Uh,
Unintentional acting
and-
is
Viggo Mortensen's cry of pain at losing the hobbits it is a cry of pain because of his own foot.
because he broke his damn toe. Do you know what else? With that one is when the leader of the Uruk-hai throws the knife at him.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a prop knife,
Uh-huh.
and the guy didn't know. He threw it right at Vigo, and Vigo's like, sword, boom, get that shit
Yep.
out of here. Totally
And then
unstaged.
it makes the craziest sound.
And it was perfect. It was perfect.
It really was. Yeah.
So-
Anyway, Andrew, you don't know. You haven't seen the thing. You've only seen the still.
Yeah. It actually wasn't the microwave this time. We're down to the idea that maybe it's because I kind of live in like a retirement area, and with it being the holidays, everybody is like using up all the bandwidth. Maybe that's it. Because there's literally
that's fair.
we can't find any reason for this to do any of this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I only saw the still that Josh posted in our chat, and I literally just went on to the person whose tweet it was a still of or group, and I don't see it.
Oh,
Yeah, I almost wonder if they took
Wah-wah.
it down because I just
They
went
might
to
have
go
been
look for it
asked.
as well.
They might have been asked to take it down.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I got a
Anyway.
screenshot of it. Ha ha!
So unfortunately, some of you might not be able to actually go and watch this now that we've reacted to it. So we'll move on to
It
our
was
other
awesome.
reaction.
Take our word for it.
Whenever we're talking about these things, either they'll be up briefly or they'll be up longer. As long as I can put them somewhere on the screen, I got to figure out how it's going to fit with 4 of us on the screen
Certainly.
now. But I'll try to do it, and if I can leave it up on the screen like I did last time, I will. But
Also, while
I'm
you're
willing to
doing
shrink.
that
I'm
and
willing to
looking around for the things, make sure to like and also subscribe and smash that bell. Wait, do you not
Where
do
is
that?
it? Where is it?
I don't know. Normally it's below you, but who knows? So we'll see how it works out. I'll do it as best as I
No, but yeah,
can,
actually, like I
'cause
said,
I'll shrink
that
mine.
joke,
I'll
like,
shrink my
do like
video.
and
My
subscribe.
video.
Like,
Yeah, I'll shrink my video down to like 2 pixels, but I can't shrink everybody else's down like that. That's just not fair.
What? So one final, like a final thought, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much hype did you get from the 2-second clip, or the still? I got probably like a 7. I'm super hyped. I'm ready. I'm here for this.
I will admit that I got about a 6.
Yeah,
Definitely
five,
more
6.
excitement than middle, but
Yeah.
but I was definitely more hype about the other stuff. Androl, you said you're also at about a 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6. Wasn't that? It's a bad shot from someone standing. So you really can't see much. You see something flown by. So no, there were other news that was much better today.
Oh yes. Well,
So
Yes, so I would say that, we'll probably say this again at the end, but overall from the Watt Wednesday, I'm at like a 9.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That part
Andrew-
of it was like not
Andrew,
even a 6.
Andrew, what's your reaction to this?
Well,
still
he didn't
you
even
saw?
actually see the.
But he saw the
he
still-
said from the
still.
still, and from what you guys have said, I'm gonna have to explain why. But honestly, for me, it's somewhere between like a 3 and a 4,
Sure, okay.
because I don't get too hyped over unofficial leaks, because as much as I want to
That's
know
fair.
more, I also would prefer if it was Watt on Prime, or Rafe or somebody from the cast or something like that giving it out to us,
That's
because
fair.
if they're working on something really cool and somebody is guaranteed violating, if they're a part of the cast or crew or helping out there, they're guaranteed violating an NDA
Their NDA.
by doing
Yeah,
this.
That's true.
Which I can't condone, which is kind of hypocritical because I have like pirated movies and stuff in the past, way in the past, not anytime recently. Stay away from me, FBI. As much as I appreciate your fervor and enthusiasm in trying to get more news out to us, I think doing things where you're sneaking videos or pictures or stuff from the set, I think it doesn't mesh with the spirit that I see in the Wheel of Time community that we have, especially on Twitter.
All right.
It's that thing we all want to do,
Andrew being all responsible.
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna go with the moral high ground
level-headed.
argument on it.
hey, listen to Daddy Andrew.
It's
Daddy,
over, Anakin.
tell
I
us
have
a
the moral
story.
high ground.
But it's cool. I think it's cool. I mean, the shots are cool. It probably doesn't. The entire clip probably doesn't reveal too much. So I
Certainly,
am thankful for
it
that.
didn't reveal anything.
And if you
Someone
guys
is
didn't know
riding.
this about me already, I am a frigging like squirrel on crack. Like I see something shiny, I'm there, dude. I'm on it. I'm hyped. I'm happy. I'm excited for it. So there are people that are like, that movie sucked. I'm like, I fucking loved it. It was great.
Squirrel.
Even when it was a terrible movie.
Hi.
Suicide Squad. Oh, hi. What's up?
I actually kind of like
What?
Suicide Squad.
I loved it. I
Suicide
thought it was
Squad
great.
is terrible.
See. Okay, so number 2.
No, let me be very, very clear though. While I was watching Suicide Squad, I actually had a pretty good time. I really
you
did.
go.
I was entertained. And so it
That's
wasn't as bad as something like, Troll 2 or Batman versus Superman or Justice League. All of those weren't even that entertaining while you were watching them. And oh my God, we just looked up the other day. Avengers Endgame is 3 hours and 2 minutes.
Nice.
Batman versus Superman is 3 hours and 12 minutes.
Oh,
so
God.
it is 10 minutes longer.
So,
But while you're watching Batman versus Superman, it feels like it's about 24 hours longer than Avengers Endgame.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next piece of news because we still have a lot to go through.
Number 2, I think the guitar is probably the best.
Well, and also
thing.
the other third thing is related to the second thing.
So Androl, give me your thoughts on the guitar. Just
give us the once over.
Your first impression, like just where's your heart? Where's your soul right now?
Oh,
he left his soul in San Francisco.
Yeah, as you do. No, I liked it. Actually, I really do. First, I was like, oh, a guitar, because, you have your mindset on the harp. But, when I just give it another thought, it makes much more sense. A harp works in a fancy book, but not in a real environment. To say, if I would sit in a bar, try to play a handheld harp, it would not be heard at all.
Yes.
So it's practical reasons. And it's actually, I think it's cool design. I like guitars, of course. So
what?
And it's more inspired by the 1700s style of guitars.
Yes.
So it's
the more classical style rather than the modern steel string and whatnot.
Yeah. It if nothing else, it is a beautiful guitar.
Yes. It is.
I mean, as it
mustache.
Yeah, it does. It has a mustache. It's perfect.
Someone on Twitter said that. Right? Yeah, damn right you are. It's a mustache.
I couldn't agree more, Androl, because when it comes right down to it, there is the idea that on some level, in the sort of medieval times, there were lutes. But there weren't sort of any kind of our understanding of a guitar. Those
lutes
are
and
much
glutes,
more,
baby. Lutes and glutes.
They are much more modern invention in some ways as the guitar entities that we know today. And certainly when you get into like electric guitars and whatnot, those are very much modern. But that does mean that in a fantasy setting, people often go back to the harps, go back to the lutes, go back to whatever, because they would not have necessarily, the guitar would not have necessarily, beautiful. I love it. Would not necessarily have existed in that time. And of course, as you said, it's really easy to write. He has a harp.
Right.
In the book. But when you're actually carrying it around and when you're actually doing the playing in the tavern, and when you're actually doing
and I also
it doesn't really work.
And I also thought about the lute, and I think you want to differentiate from like The Witcher.
Yes.
Because he has a lute. Yeah. So a guitar.
The funny thing about the harp, and Androl, I'm not gonna lie, I never even thought about playing a harp in a crowded common room and expecting anybody to hear you. So that's not something I never thought about. So with that added information, I'm sitting here going, you know what? Thom using a harp might be the most unbelievable thing about the story that nobody ever figured out.
I will throw out the credit where credit is due to Robert Jordan. He does make a point just about every time he is telling you about Thom in a common room that even if it's a crowded common room, everyone shuts the fuck up to listen to Thom. So it might not be much of a problem for Thom, but it is still somewhat unbelievable, at least for other gleemen.
And he's a court bard, so
Thom.
Well, I have to say, then he must be the best, Yeah, that's
the whole point.
Magic to me. That's his Taverin power.
Yes.
He is the best.
A crowded room of people who doesn't know who the hell he is to shut up, stop drinking, and listen to him recite a poem and play some harp.
Yeah. Have you listened to the episode that we did on Thom where we said that Thom is just the GOAT? And oh
He
my
is.
gosh, if Rand had not actually
Stone
had
cold
Thom, the whole
nerves of
he would
steel.
have lost Tarman Guided.
I probably have.
Andrew, what do you think about the guitar? How are you feeling about it?
I think it's cool. Amongst a couple other things, Androl and I just another night, the other night after the Way of the Leafs season 1 celebration, we had a very
Which
long
you should
and-
definitely go see, by the way. I missed
Oh yeah, it was pretty cool.
I missed it live, but I went back and watched the whole thing.
It was
and
good.
Super enjoyable.
Pretty cool.
The karaoke is hilarious.
Yeah.
And there are a
Androl and Doe-
number of other
Except
bits that are
for
great.
we don't like them because one of our Ashaman has beef with them. So we
No.
They squashed it.
No, we're fine with Way of the Leaf because he beat
Oh.
them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, it was very much a taint-inspired conversation on my part that Androl was kind enough to entertain. Yeah, let's go with that.
There you go.
And there was a very long part of the conversation that was like about country music. So being someone that grew up with country music, seeing an acoustic guitar on screen always makes me like kind of happy.
Nice.
And I think there's just so much that can be done with sound engineering. And I don't want to say SFX, but I guess that is kind of part of SFX.
Right.
To really diversify the sound, to just make it sound very, very unique, very medieval-esque. So I'm excited.
I don't think there's anybody on the show right now who would know anything about that.
Yeah, it's just my thought, I guess. But
Wherever he is, I don't know where he is.
I
he's
briefly scrolled through the comments because in between work and getting home and doing a couple things, I haven't had time to really digest a lot of the information.
Sure.
I'm not necessarily seeing anything that looks too negative. I probably just haven't seen it yet because this is a much bigger divergence than what we expected with like Tam's sword.
Right.
So I'm not excited for that, but I do kind of think it's funny. It almost feels kind of cheeky to me from Rafe and the team to where there was all this outcry, or I say all this, there was a fair amount of outcry over either the sword not being a big enough announcement or it not being accurate to the books. And so this week's announcement is, well, here's something completely different.
A man with 3 buttons.
So I think it was one of those things that I'm hoping that Rafe and the team saw how much of the community was like, y'all, stop being so harsh. We knew things were going to change. We knew things were going to be different. Stop being butthurt over something that we knew was coming and instead be happy that we got something. And
Rich.
I'm hoping it was just like they have so much confidence that the community will self-police about that kind of crap. They were like, yeah, here's something
and
pretty
of course,
significantly different.
I mean, I imagine that when it comes right down to it, as stated, I trust Rafe pretty solidly. He has done a number of projects.
He's got
already.
a good track record.
He does have a good track record. And so anytime I see something that's changed, I almost always assume that it was for a good reason and that we find out what that good reason is in the show. And I will trust up until the point where I see the show and it was a terrible choice before I get on somebody's dick.
Precisely.
About it, if you will. And that I will assume that they were right to do it until I'm proven wrong, rather than the other way around, which does seem to be what some of the community seems to be on.
And remember what where the loot was situated. And see, did you take a look at the floor, the background, the lights?
Yes.
It's apparently some kind of tavern. Sort of like
and maybe be the Wine Spring Inn. Possibly.
And remember the quotation at the end of the clip.
Yep.
You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. Would you like to quote it for the people who don't?
Donation for the Gleeman. I can't do it as good as he did it, but
well, that's because you have not been embodying the role of Thom last year and a half.
That was Thom. I was listening to it, and it was like it was music going, it was beautiful, and then all of a sudden you hear this donation for the Gleeman, and I was just like, it's Thom.
Definitely,
It's Thom.
Androl and Josh both have better mustaches to do this than me.
Mustaches. So knowing what this change brings, knowing how hard of a story swerve this is, on a scale of 1 to 10, guitar and the voice of Thom Maryland, how hyped are you, Androl? 1 to 10. How hyped?
Ooh, I'm about 7.35.
Ooh,
Yeah,
very, very specific number there.
Yeah, I know.
Daniel.
10.
10.
Well, it was the 6 from Moiraine and the 10 from the guitar that comes down to about,
Andrew, where are you at, buddy?
I'm gonna give it a good 8. I think it's a good deviation, a good way to kind of bridge some stuff. It's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out for Rand and Matt, and you all know why I'm saying that.
Yep.
See how that goes, if that's how much that changes that. So I think that's a good question. Hopefully Rafe answered it in the QA, and I just haven't seen it yet, like any of them. But
and
I think it's pretty cool.
And so for me, I'm gonna give it a solid like 8.5 as well, because I love a good, beautiful musical instrument, and hearing Thom for the first time was, my heart was happy to hear it. So we're giving it like an average of like 8.59 for the team. That's great. And we talked about a lot of the changes, which I think brings a pretty amazing segue into the final bit of our BTP Reacts. And this one is, this one's a lot to take in, because as we said before, Rafe did not pull any punches. He
regularly does not.
he just belted it out there and was like, this is what it is. At one point in time, there was even a quote of "fuck Chesmel." Like, whatever. And it was like, okay. So Rafe did a Q&A session on his Instagram, which if you're not following him on Instagram, you're definitely doing yourself a disservice, because he's amazing. And if you're not following us on Instagram, you're doing yourself another disservice. So correct both of those things right now. Hit pause, go to Instagram, follow us, come back, and we'll finish this up.
Actually, you're probably just going to do it on your phone, so pull it out right now.
Oh, there you go.
Don't need to pause.
So, Androl, did you see the Q&A?
I said I watched the Dusty Wheel doing some reactions, so I
follow the Dusty Wheel. Matt Hatch is the best innkeeper in the land.
Which, by the way, they're doing their 100th live stream today, so congratulations to those guys.
Yeah, congratulations. Well done.
Bran Alvear is actually the best innkeeper.
I mean, okay.
Matt Hatch is a very close second.
I must say there was quite a lot of answers we actually got.
Yes.
So, and some good questions as well.
Maybe focus on the one that you thought was the most impactful or most significant to you.
That would mean that I am prepared and have them up before my eyes.
I
to be fair, I did not know what this React segment would be about.
Well, and to be completely honest, as much as I don't necessarily love doing this, but I do think it is actually a good thing. Go check out the Q&A. Go actually watch it for yourself.
You really should.
I'm not saying that we can't go over some things. I'm not saying that, but we definitely don't want to just rehash the Q&A, because it's already there, and you would doing it yourself.
And people are reposting it on Instagram.
Yes, it is very widely available.
So absolutely, go check it out. Enjoy it for yourself. Take away your own reactions, your own responses, because as stated by Josh, Rafe did not pull punches. Rafe was very honest. Rafe actually answered a significant number of questions. Yes. So go have a good time. Sit there for
Yeah.
I think it's about 12 minutes long or something.
Yeah. I
Effectively.
have to say for
Go
me,
enjoy. Josh, what was your favorite part?
I have to
As
say
the-
for me,
what
the
was the
best
most
part,
exciting?
and I can't remember the actual question word for word, but the basic gist of the question was, how hard was it to make these changes from the books to the TV show? Like, how difficult was you? And
What I think
love,
if the question was actually even phrased like as a creator and a fan,
yeah.
how hard? Yeah,
And Rafe's answer hit me hard. Because at the Black Tower podcast, we've been saying from the beginning, we don't want a word for word recreation of the books.
Yes.
We know that story. We want something new. So we expect and embrace changes, just as we hashtag embrace the taint. And Rafe's answer really hit hard because he started off by saying, the cutting room floor is littered with my tears.
Yep.
Because of all the great things that they had to cut to make it work in a show. And as he explains what their reasoning is, he says that they want this to be its own independent story.
Yes.
So, and then he ends the answer with, gird your loins. And I'm just like, oh God. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So
Like
all of you
I had
coming
them-
into this with a Lord of the Rings frame of mind, I'm gonna need you to just stop.
Well, and of course,
Now.
to be fair, I mean, like, again, Rafe has also said in the past that he is trying to get something that is incredibly faithful. So I do think that there's going to be, somewhere between Lord of the Rings and Ready Player One
Right.
of like, this is off the page and this is a totally different story. What are you even talking about?
Daniel, what was
Somewhere
the
between.
question for you that hit you? Question answer.
I don't actually remember it well enough to pull the answer.
Well, I have skimmed them, and
so-
I actually have one.
Do you? Go ahead.
Andrew, hit it.
Yeah. In case you couldn't see by like my video, I'm listening and trying to interact, but I'm also trying to quickly like read through what I can. And he gave long responses.
He did. He gave
Yes,
really
really long.
in-depth responses.
But the question that from what I've read, and I've skimmed through all of them, and there's things that definitely stuck out that are cool, like that the Gleeman's cloak will still be there, though maybe not in the way we imagine. That's pretty cool. But the one that stuck out the most was the one that was he identified as obviously from Sarah, where the question was,
Oh,
how
yeah.
many times did I give you blank stares when discussing possible changes? And him saying the room of writers is thrilled. They're like, we've cracked it. This is amazing. This is perfect. We got it done. And they're all just so happy. And Sarah's just sitting there like, and they all collectively go, fuck, go back to the drawing board.
Just, I want to see here, Sarah Nakamura. You guys, I want you to tag her and see if we can do this. I want to see if she will post a picture
of the blank
stare.
stare.
Of
Yes.
the stare.
Oh, yeah.
I want to
Yes.
see Sarah's stare. So, everybody, right now, give your best Sarah stare. What do you think it looks like?
Sarah's resounding, withering stare would tell us to go back to the drawing board. REP, Perrin talking to a bear.
What we need is like a very short, like
Bear
2-frame,
brother.
like a 3-frame GIF of like Rafe and the team sitting there being all smiles, like we got it, and then just Sarah's face just, and then
Well,
just
no, it'd
switch
be-
back,
It'd
and then
be
just
the
switch back, and they all have
Gru-
like the anime sweat drops.
Yeah, no, it's the Gru meme where you just have figure out the perfect thing to hold the story together. Next frame. Look at Sarah Nakamura for approval. Down at the bottom. Sarah Nakamura gives you a blank stare. Sarah Nakamura gives you a blank stare.
It's the Samuel. I imagine it's similar to the Samuel L.
There's
Jackson.
motherfuckily.
But yeah, so tag
yes.
Sarah. Tell
So
her we
this
want
is-
to see her blank
Is
stare
that wait?
face.
Is that a new thing? Do we need to make the new meme where it's just a picture of Sarah Nakamura and it just says stares Nakamura-ly?
Yes.
Yes, there you go. So
I got to go ahead.
we know it's
get
kind of
a
abbreviated.
Shame pillow.
We know this is kind of abbreviated and kind of rushed. We don't like rushing through the kind of stuff, but we only have like roughly 30 to 40 minutes to do this before our episode.
And again,
don't know how
this
all of
was
you guys.
such a long Q&A. Please go watch it. It's so
Please,
good.
yeah.
And
Please,
we could
please,
never
please.
get to it. We could do the entire episode on it and we would still not actually be done.
All of you guys that main YouTube and you can get all this done within 30 minutes or less. I don't know how you do it. Probably because I think for most people, it's just you and maybe one other person talking about it, and not 3 to 4 different people, sometimes more.
Talented guys.
Gosh darn it,
but-
Androl,
You're
you're
talented
ruining
people.
it. If there were only the 3 of us, we could totally do it. Just kidding.
But so this has been the
BTP React.
excuse me. No, I remember the name. I just like suddenly was like, oh, I have to burp,
yeah.
and I don't want to like be in the middle. This has been so this has been BTP reacting to the news put out by Watt on Prime and a brief leaked clip from the 23rd of December. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Tell us what you think about the news that came out, your reactions to it, and what you think some of the stuff means, where it's going to, and what was your favorite question and answer that you saw. So let us know in the comments down below. When you get done with that, or while you're trying to think of what to type, make sure you head on over to Androl's YouTube channel, which you can find a link to in the description below, and make sure that you are subscribed. Go and like every single video. Go and comment on every single song and tell him how amazing
that
his
one
work is.
video. Don't. That one.
No, you got to see his latest video on his Twitter feed about the medical benefits of taint away.
Yeah. And then definitely go over to Twitter and make sure that you are following Androl on Twitter as well, so that you can get all these amazing notifications and epic little videos that he does here and there that may or may not make it to YouTube. You'll have to follow both to find out.
Just FYI, if you're looking for a soundtrack for what to listen to while you're reading the Q&A, no better soundtrack than a number of the songs that Androl has put out. So pop on over and get yourself a soundtrack.
Thank you very much.
But
This has been BTP Reacts with the amazingly talented and ever gracious special guest here, Androl, and we will see you again in this segment when there's more news, hopefully next Wednesday. We'll see.
hopefully.